Love monkey. All right. That's on. What's the weather, Ash? There you go. It's on.
We'll go this way.
Yes, I agree. I already thought of
78
that.
to 94.
78 to 94.
Yeah. Ready?
78 to 94.
The Wade and Carter Show is a paid programming, and KHUC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for their opinions and guests on their show.
That's you.
Condo collapses in Miami. Emmett Alvarez joins us this morning. The brother man will be in studio. All that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show.
That's just solid radio right there.
Just go home. It's done.
I mean, when you nail
It's
it
all
like
downhill from there. Time to go home.
I've got some tough questions for you.
How are you this morning?
Very good, very good. Good to see you, sir.
Busy show. We got guests.
We're
got
very
lots to talk about,
fortunate.
so
Very
let's-
fortunate. Lots of good people to be on today.
I think the rain is past, so let's do this.
What were those numbers again? The Deerland Feed. The Deerland Feed folks bring you the Wade and Carter weather. It is 78 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of 94. It's summertime.
I see there's a special weather statement. I don't know what heat index.
Oh,
Yeah, they're expecting heat indices to be between 105 and 109 today. So
that means
There
that
we
there's
go.
a chance that ERCOT is going to let you down and that your power is going to go out.
probably so. Chances might be good.
Tell me that today, wouldn't you, of course, I'm in the insurance business, but wouldn't you sleep better if you had a whole house generator from Wind Services?
I certainly would.
If you knew that, well, I don't want the power to go out. I don't want my neighbors to be without power. But guess what? If it happens, things still work at my house. You had to look at your shirt to see if that was today's video.
Exactly, because you weren't there yet.
Right. Wind Services, folks, for all your electrical needs, whether it's just a plug, something as simple as a new outlet in your garage, or a Generac, Kohler, Cummins, Briggs & Stratton, whatever type of generator you might need, whether it be diesel, gas, propane, they can make it work.
Janelle Sarles is in. Rena Scherer. Good morning. Chris Conrad. Jeff Fonseca.
How did you do that?
It's just I left it smaller.
What a bonus.
I don't know if it is. I don't know what we see all the comments.
I don't know.
No, we don't see it. We just see a few. So, all right.
Did Jeff Fonseca say, what a plug?
Yeah.
Nice little pun there. He's
Justin Glass is in. David Glass, Scott Tomko, Jeff Finley.
That
Patrick
is father's
Strauss,
son, right? That's father's son, Jeff. And
Rob Moore Knipling, Richard King, Judge
Justin
Posey.
and
Good
David.
morning.
good morning, Judge. Good morning, Jeff Finley. Had a
Diane
nice,
Tippett, Matt Boucher, Lisa Poole. I think we're caught.
dinner with the Finleys last night.
Did you? That's
Yeah.
good.
Good
My
folks.
phone didn't ring.
No.
Phone didn't ring.
Well, we knew that you were home taking care of dogs.
That's what I was doing.
Right, you were.
So
The Finleys are wonderful people. We had a great visit last night, and people came around. JP Hall came around. Steve Kidder came around passing out cards.
glad they're in early.
Kidder was like telling Jeff, you know she's going to leave you. Call me. Let's do lunch. And like as he left, he did his hand, call me.
Just drumming up business.
Yeah, let's do lunch.
That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
Johnny Houghton is in. Karen Webb, good morning. Funky Trey Molina. Funky was supposed to be up at the College World Series in Omaha.
Well,
He
maybe
threatened me he called me Sunday and threatened me that he was going. So I don't know if he went. Because he said he was going to call us one morning. He
Horns
never
have
did.
lots of work to do. They have to
They play today?
Yes, and then I think if
It's
they,
pool play to start, right? And then is it the two teams that win their pool
No.
advance out?
no, it's just a straight up double elimination.
No, it's not. I don't think is. I think they changed things up.
Okay.
I saw an A bracket and a B bracket.
Did you?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I know that if they'd have lost the other day, they were out.
They lose.
Astros 13-0 over the lousy, hapless Baltimore
The
Orioles.
Baltimore Orioles are the worst team in baseball. I mean, they just are. I saw a
They're
ball
trying to
hit last
resurrect the
night.
knuckleballer last night.
Oh, it dropped into left field, like right in front of a guy. That
Yeah,
was
Abraham
not diving.
Toro just crushed one. 3-run home run.
Good for him. Toro and Aledmus Diaz, two vital pieces of the Astros program. You've like gone right into the show, right?
No.
We were just talking for a minute.
No.
Now the show has started.
No, I'm trying to find my my ML or my college baseball stuff because I thought it was bracket play.
Well, I think if Texas wins today,
No, it isn't.
then they have to play Mississippi State and beat them twice.
Vanderbilt won an elimination game yesterday, so they're
Right.
Texas plays Virginia. It is an elimination game.
And they should beat Virginia. They should. But then they have to play, well,
I guess they would play. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's two pools, double elimination in the 14 brackets, and then the two winners are left. I think that might be how it works.
I don't know. They went into the losers bracket.
Yeah, I think no, they're in the. I think it's two brackets and it's double elimination each bracket. The two bracket winners then is how it works. I think so. It's two 4-team double elimination tournaments within the
Except
tournament.
that if Texas loses any time going forward, they're done. That's what I've been told.
Until they get to the finals.
No, I mean Mississippi State has no losses, and if Texas loses to them, they're out.
Because they're in the same bracket.
Are they?
I think so. I think that's how it works. I don't know.
I think you're making it more difficult.
I
than it should
probably
be.
am, but I thought I saw that somewhere. But I could be wrong. Hockey half minute. Islanders in overtime over Tampa Bay. A quick one. It ended early.
How does
I
it
just
end
turned
up?
it on. I had to go take a leak. I come back out. Game was over. That's how fast it ended last night in
Really?
overtime. So, I mean,
Sounds
I watched it.
Sounds like my honeymoon with Dawn. I thought I was doing great. She had to go to the restroom. She came back and it was over.
So Islanders force a game 7, winning at home yesterday. Here's the one thing I didn't understand with the game. Islanders fans, Tampa Bay had left the ice, and Islanders fans started throwing cans and bottles and all sorts of stuff on the ice. And I've never seen that from a home team in a celebration. And I mean, I know it's New York, but it was a classless move by Islanders fans and a dangerous move. I mean, Cal Clutterbuck had one coming at him that if he didn't bat his swing and knock it out of the air, it probably grips him in the head.
What's his last name?
Clutterbuck. Cal.
And you said it grips him in the head?
Yes, I don't know why.
I mean,
that
you're
word
just like
came out.
on a roll. It's early.
I meant to
for that
say it
kind of
rips
talk.
him in the head.
Folks, if you get griffed in the head, you need to call the law offices of Steve Kidder. Steve Kidder's there for you if you get grifted. Is that
Or if
fair?
you're a grifter, he'll defend you as well.
Could be a grifter. What if you described yourself? What do you do? I'm a grifter. Let's be honest.
Judge Posey says both of us are correct.
I'm a grifter.
Who will play with double elimination? I'm assuming.
So we're assuming the judge is.
Alan
talking
Mayer's in, Jim Simpson, Roy Gutierrez. Good morning, everybody.
about- Good morning, Roy
Tom Price.
Gutierrez. Roy, just leave the keys to the Shelby on the front left tire, and I'll be by today, and I'll bring it back.
May not be in one piece,
Oh,
a
no.
la Ferris Bueller's Day Off
Right?
Ferrari,
Isn't
but
that a great? That's a great oh no, he's not gonna. Oh, he did. When those
Or-
guys left the parking garage and they're like bottoming that thing. Oh, it's just so.
What was it? A Ferrari?
It was a Ferrari, a red
Or-
Ferrari.
or Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
My dad's
My
got a
brother's
great
gonna
suit.
kill us.
My
My brother's
dad's,
gonna.
my
Is he
dad-
gonna? Or is he gonna kill us?
My dad's got a great set of tools. We can fix it.
Roy says, "Come get it."
No, it's a beautiful.
In other
car.
words, over his dead
no,
body.
no, he would let me have it. He's that great of a guy, but it's just, I wouldn't go anywhere without him in it. I'd be like, so see, I wasn't really speeding.
You're going to be on one of those supercar fail videos. Hearing that thing
840 horsepower.
Back end of the
840 horsepower.
What we need in Victoria.
That's right. We need more of that in Victoria. Yeah.
There was some out last night on bikes out Rab Road area, Levi Sloan. I'm not sure which, but I could hear the motorcycles out.
Do they
evening.
race out there by you sometimes?
Not often. It's rare that I hear them, but last night I could hear them.
You ever? It could be those Duke boys, some Duke brothers.
Yeah, it wasn't the Duke
The
boys.
Dukes. It was the Dukes. It was
Might have been the Dukes.
Real quick, let's take a break and then we'll have our friend come in. Motto Mortgage 541-5454. Terry Murray.
She is your personal shopper in the mortgage world.
Absolutely. She knows all the markets. She knows all the best interest rates.
She's got all the products you need, including a reverse mortgage if that's what you want.
Yep. You can talk to her and say, well, I need to lower my payment and I'd like to remodel my kitchen. She'll show you how to take your equity and turn it back into something good for you. It's also, if it's a seller's market, it's a buyer's market. So the market is good. If you're interested in moving houses, maybe get more house for the same payment by working with her. Reach out to Terry Murray, 541-5454. We mentioned wind services for generators, solar panels, electrical, plumbing, emergency work, whatever you need, they'll take care of you.
Yeah, they do. Then they do a great job. They'll make suggestions that you may not even think about, and it won't cost you, any more. They'll tweak your project.
They actually
Like when they came out, because when they came out, I had an idea of what I wanted, and then I talked to them and told them, hey, this is what I want. And he said, well, you know what? You probably don't want that one where you say you want it. We're going to move it over here. I'd suggest moving it over here. They didn't say we're going to do it. They suggested. And I would suggest adding one more to the other side of the building.
Done.
And I said, okay, let's go ahead and do that. And they did. It's worked out perfectly because where I wanted to put it, I never would have used it.
Makes
And
sense.
now I use that outlet all the time. So yeah, it absolutely. That's why I trusted their judgment, and they did not steer me wrong. So give Wayne a call for all your electrical needs.
USA Concrete Coatings, 578-HOME. Charlie Garcia will come out and transform. How you say it?
Ooh, you did
Transform
just like that. You said it
your
well.
garage floor.
It's only taken you 3 months.
Maybe a year. He will take what is a cracked
Drab
oil-stained
slab.
slab and seal it and clean it and put down a polyurethane coat that will enhance. It's like you'll have people come over and go, hey, come look at my garage floor. It looks good. And it will look good.
And it'll look good for a long time because the product that he uses is 4 times stronger than any epoxy.
578-HOME. Reach out to Cheryl for your next party. 920-6803. 920-6803. Right, that's it. They say in radio, if you mention it 3 times, 920-6803.
361.
Right?
I forget you're still young enough, or you're old enough like I am to remember 7-digit calling as the norm, and now we're in a 10-digit calling world.
Sure.
But
Emmett, do you remember when it used to be like,
you pick up the phone and somebody would be there in the party line?
right? Think about that.
Yeah, we didn't know those kid. I don't remember.
Emmett
I don't
Alvarez.
remember him, but yeah,
He was born a poor black child.
in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Tupelo, Mississippi. First,
Give Cheryl a call for all your party planning.
His name
or
was
party
Washington.
design
He
needs.
was adopted by the Alvarez family, benevolent, young Catholic family. Loved him, raised him as their own. Emmett, 5'10", 6'4" with the afro. Fletch. They called him Fletch in high school.
Can I rebut that?
Yes. Oh,
We'll give you a chance to
come
rebut
on
that in a
in,
minute.
come
'Cause
on in.
breaking news, first of all.
Okay.
12-story condo building around Miami.
I thought you were
Collapsed
saying
this morning.
My aunt. My aunt, around my Aunt Macy.
Collapsed. One person confirmed dead, 10 are injured, a whole bunch missing. It happened about 2 o'clock this morning.
12-story condo building collapsed.
Part of it.
So part of it. Yeah,
Is
not the
that
whole thing.
crazy?
Built in 1981. I mean, that's something that's kind of like You'd
seems
expect
like
something like that in Russia, Soviet Union era building. You just don't expect that with the high,
yeah, but you find out
standards of construction that we have in this country.
2 years from now that Hunter Biden was living there, something like that. You find out something crazy
How
later
about John
on.
McAfee dying of suicide in the Spanish jail yesterday? That's just weird, isn't it? Here's a guy who's gone on record on Twitter.
Saying,
Interestingly
"I'm never gonna
enough,
kill myself."
yeah, I'm healthy. He's 75 years old. He's been critical of the government. He's wanted for tax evasion. He was being extradited. About 2 weeks ago, he claimed he had a bunch of dirt on spies and government officials.
Dead.
Or actually, I think it was 2 years ago, but it was about this time 2 years ago. And then if something were to ever happen to him, it would be leaked. And then, I think weird. I mean, it makes you wonder if he was under duress to release that video, because I think it was just a day or two ago he released a video saying that he was healthy and was not going to kill himself or something along those lines. And here he is found dead yesterday in a Spanish jail as he was just hours after being extradited or being ordered to be extradited to the U.S. to face tax evasion charges. And here's the thing. He's in a Spanish jail. He'd spent time in a Guatemalan prison. He's going to come back here, face tax evasion. He's going to be sitting in Club Fed.
Sure.
He's going to get 3 hots and a cot for the rest of his life in a comfortable place.
And how many years was he in Guatemala and Spanish?
A while, right?
Yeah, he'd
He
been.
went all those years.
Yeah.
You're gonna do the video,
And all of a sudden, facing extradition to the U.S. on tax evasion charges is too much for him to handle. And
you're gonna put him on the
Yeah,
Facebook.
I'm not buying it.
He's gonna put you on a little FaceTime.
Well, you don't have to.
No, we like you. People know you. You sell. You're youthful. You're cute. We like you.
I have enjoyed selling Victoria. It's always like,
They did, right?
oh, and even when I left office, kept calling and kept calling folks.
I'm not.
6'4" with the afro. He got rid of the afro. So
I'm
I had to
not
hold
putting
the
you on the
camera a little
spot,
bit.
but I will make a statement about something that you don't even have to address. But I think it's pertinent. Somebody said to me the other day. They said, "Do you realize and this leads into a question I have for you. The climate of our city has changed. Whether it's for the good or the bad, you can decide whether the newspaper is better than it was or not. But there is not as much antagonism or tension on the daily
Right.
now that Chris Cobbler is gone. Maybe it was good. Maybe you need that. Maybe you need an editor that just constantly pokes the bear. Maybe you do. But I'm saying it is noticeable that our city is less or is more harmonious and is less at each other's throats.
Acrimonious.
Yes, since we have a new
It's my word of the
general
day.
manager. I like George Coleman. I think, has he been fair to you?
Very fair.
I think they're a fine organization as the Victoria Advocate today.
And I've never stopped using them and reading them, but
Well, you own a newspaper. I mean, you know what it's like. You're going to take the heat. You have
You're the
to be
competitor. You monitor what they're doing.
well, of course, and I hope that we've got some things in our paper released that has challenged the advocate to do some things.
Sure.
Coverage wise and format wise and stuff. And, but it's a climate that's changing to the point where I think print media, we're on our way out.
But you know what's interesting? When I first moved to town, there was a lot of criticism that the Advocate was nothing but a PR rag for people in town. They didn't dig into
It was like People
things.
Magazine.
And then it was
turned
very
into-
much fluff and so there's a balance that needs to be struck. But I think it swung too far the
Well,
other way and
but
trying
then
to
it-
generate.
Then it went the other way, and it was like, Bill and Flo have been married 63 years, although it was rumored in 1986 that he had an affair. I mean, it's like they couldn't just go with the positive. It always had to have something in there that there was conflict.
Yeah, it's still a little dirt.
Right.
Put some dirt in there to try to maybe up your.
And I think they've gotten better. I feel I like Mr. Coleman a lot. He's been a guest of the show and is very he's likable, right? I mean, you have to admit, Ash, he comes on the show and he's a nice man.
We're joined this morning by Emmett Alvarez, candidate for mayor, one of 3. And I think David Crook, the 3rd candidate for mayor, will join us tomorrow morning.
So here you are, in my opinion, my estimation. I mean, we joke about you being a Democrat. People joke about me and Emmett not liking each other, which is completely false. I adore Mr. Alvarez. Number one, he has the chutzpah, the guts to get into the game. It's a one-sided
Well, that's
deal.
your perspective.
I like him. He doesn't pick like me, but he has the wherewithal and the guts to get into the game. And he's not afraid of any. You can throw anything at him. What I have said about Emmett is that Emmett could bring up something you did in 1980 and just shank you in the kidney and totally blindside you and totally ruin your campaign. And then he would go, "Come on, let's go to lunch. I'll buy. I can't wait to hear your perspective on how I just lampooned your campaign." It's just politics. It is just politics.
Well, that's what I've been experiencing too.
That's what I was going to ask you. How have
It
you?
works both ways.
Yes, sir. How's it been different?
You can throw it, out there, especially when you're not a candidate, at the candidates. So when you put yourself out there in that arena, if you're going to throw it, you better be the incoming is going to.
But you're used to that. You've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
Just give folks. I mean,
Thick skin, and try to learn from it. Any criticisms, you got to learn from them, not take them personal. And unfortunately, so many people that get into the arena, political arena, they take it too personal.
Well, here's the problem. The way I see it now, though, the criticisms aren't, well, he or she doesn't do this or he or she doesn't do that. It's now he or she is a buffoon. He or she is an idiot. The criticisms used to be they used to point something out that you could work on.
Right.
Now it's just name calling and insults, and it's hard not to take those things personally.
But then you have to shift to try to get the person who is upset with you. Tell me a little bit more, than just that. Or just go ahead and get out of your system. Cuss. I had people on the phone cuss me out. Oh, that reminded me of my dad when I was growing up. He used to cuss me out too.
Right.
So it's like, well,
No, you're unflappable. You're unflappable. They're not gonna get to you, which by the way probably really upsets them.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, that's great. Tell me this. So I consider myself conservative. I haven't voted yet. I remember that you were on city council. I know that Jeff Balknight's been on city council. I don't know anything about David Crook. Why should I vote for you? Why should I vote for you for mayor?
If you're conservative, I would think you're interested in the spending of the city. You're interested in your taxes. You're interested in the tax rate. When I was on council, our tax rate went down. Since I left council, the tax rate's been going up. And so what's going on there? My conservative bent is on being fiscally conservative. Taxpayers' money. How are we spending that money? On what projects? How can we lower that tax burden, at least at the city level, and still maintain the services that we demand and need, and the expectation we have for our city government? Ultimately, the taxpayer I look at is that overall burden at the bottom line. When you add up all the entities, you get that tax rate down there, and then you get kicked to the, on the appraisal value, and oh wow, there we go again. Taxes went up. So that aspect of my fiscal conservatism is something that I think you need to take into account. What I also would like is more of our citizens participating. We're just not seeing that. We're seeing some involvement, but we need more. We've got big decisions to make. We've got these master plans for the parks, for the thoroughfare, for the drainage, big expensive items coming down the road. need more citizen participation in what they think about those plans. Besides the public hearings and everything we've done up to this point, these plans need now be put out into the public, and somebody needs to put a cost to them, because they're not gonna be cheap.
One thing we've heard through this process is, with Crestwood, lots of opportunity to talk about the project. Nobody showed up to talk about the project. So how do you then fix that? Because it's there's a gap in the communication. Do you have to now start
Free
going
beer.
to
Free
free beer and barbecue?
They'll
Will
be
do it.
there.
Yeah. But I mean, do you now have to start taking council to the people rather than people to the council? Is that the answer? You're going to have to go and set up in the middle of Crestwood to stop the traffic so that the people will come to talk to you.
It's not traffic, it's those people who live in those residential.
You,
They don't need either you door knock, you send them a letter, you make a phone call. And that section of Crestwood that got controversial, but I mean, there's not 50, less than 100 people living. in
Right.
that
Well, and I
section.
drove it. I didn't do an exact forensic audit of it all. Every one of those homes has driveways going off the street.
sure.
Right.
So,
It's hard.
it's
hard.
I mean,
It's always been difficult.
Remember when you were a kid here in Victoria and you would see the sign that was professionally painted, but it was probably on 4x8 plywood, your tax dollars at work. And it would say, here's where we are. It would show you they would come in, there was like a timeline, they'd paint in the progress. You remember this? You
I
don't.
remember the United Way signs doing that when there was.
Yeah, right.
But on the local projects.
Yeah, I remember this.
They used to do that.
Whatever happened to those little black things that had the torch on them at night to keep you from driving? Remember those
Okay,
things?
we're really going back. Did you possess some of them?
We were kids, Emmett.
Did you take some?
No, they were full of, my neighbors, those were full of kerosene.
They were on fire. I mean,
Yes.
It was a little hot to borrow.
Zach Smith says, if elected, what would you like to see the federal funds the city is set to receive? How would you like?
14 million.
It's really not being flippant, but it's only $14 million. And what would you want to see done with it?
Well, you're already hearing that the city's going to take a chunk of it to go back into the general fund. They're allowed to do that to make up for some of the general fund losses. And then the rest is going to be up for grabs. I don't know, about 9 million, I think, or so, 10 million. Will be up for grabs to fund certain projects. My concern is we need to stick within the guidelines. We certainly don't want to have to be told to send the money back. Because I guess they're sending it. Usually I've always thought you spend it locally and then you get reimbursed, but apparently they're sending some money into.
sending it and then
But
you
you
got
gotta
to be
use it the
accountable.
right way.
Almost more like grant funding than anything else. But here's the concern I have going forward. You've got a $14 million windfall. Let's say it's all able to be spent this coming year.
2024.
Okay, but still, let's say this year. I'm just because this helps where I'm going with this question. Does the expectation now amongst those at city council become that we've got to find the way to spend this money because we're using it to augment our budget or supplement our budget? So now going forward, we've got an automatic $14 million increase into the budget.
Big mistake if they were to do that. You
Right.
Count that money as one time.
But governments tend not to do that, Emmett.
No. And I make at least an argument for the city of Victoria, we don't do that.
Right.
We just, Gilbert Raynette had all the finance department, city manager, even Charmel. That was just not a practice of this city. And we know that. Because if you have one-time money, you need to spend it on a one-time project.
Right.
Because you're not going to see that recurring 14 million. What I think we ought to do is let's put that money into a hard asset that's going to last 20, 30 years or longer. Whether it's a street or some infrastructure or some specific hard assets that we could put in on the ground that can benefit the city, benefit the citizens, and it's going to be there a while. Let's just not spend it next year. Well, where did the money go?
Right.
I don't know. We did this and that and the other. But I would want a 20, 30-year asset that we would spend that money on. And we could see that project for a long time and it would benefit us.
Well,
30 or 14 million. Boy, that builds a nice curling facility
Yeah,
that would last
nice
100 years.
curling facility with them, and you can play basketball there. Be a nice arena for graduations. Very nice.
You soccer field.
You know, I saw some numbers the other day. Chief Arredondo went to proposed his new budget, his first budget, if you will, since he's been police chief. Was looking like I'm making up numbers. 3.4%, I think, was the increase. 560 grand. It's not a. I mean, sorry, it's not a tremendous amount of money. And then, as you read through the article, he's trying to get his budget up a little over $500,000, already knowing that they've made promises to personnel that are going to cost $700,000 additional dollars next year in payroll, and they're raising the rank and file salaries. It's interesting that if you had, and it's all a matter of timing, and you know this from dealing with the city, maybe they bought 10 vehicles this year, and next year they're only planning on buying 4. Well, that frees up the money. But the idea is that he's raising his budget, and his payroll is eating up all of that increase and a little bit.
And that's a reoccurring expense.
Yes, sir.
Once you make that payroll adjustment, you're gonna have to depend on that coming into next year.
From now on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
And-
tough.
And you take other parts of the budget that may be a one-time only, you gotta be careful with that.
I've never felt like the city was flippant with taxpayer money. I've never felt like they were anything but fiscally responsible.
Very fiscally responsible, and that's why we've got a high rating in our bonds. Gilbert, over there at the finance department, they're recognized year in and year out, looking at one of the most transparent budgets around, and they continue to upgrade how you can access their budget and their spending. So overall, you know, it's a tight, lean. You can feel confident that they're being very fiduciary and spending and so forth. But nowadays we gotta make that dollar stretch even more. Y'all got a phone call?
You have a phone call, I'm certain. Good morning,
Good
Wayne
morning, Wayne
Carter.
Carter.
Official.
Oh, they're gone.
Good morning.
I guess
They're
they
gone.
didn't want-
How much time?
Let's take a break and then we'll come back. We gotta get
Okay.
a break in.
Which one you want to do?
That's an offer.
Oh,
Since 1926.
Victoria's car dealer.
If you need brand new Chevrolets, Cadillacs, Mitsubishis, Mazdas, if you need used vehicles, pre-owned, certified pre-owned, if you need trucks, if you need a fleet of vehicles, Atzenhofer has the answers to your vehicular questions.
It almost sounds like you've learned that by listening to me say that they're stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
Well, I read between those
All
lines.
in Navarro Motor Mile, just down the road from higher prices, selling cars built on Tuesdays. The Atzenhofer dealership
Since
selling
1926.
cars like candy bars. Tommy Taylor and his family go all the way back to Ed Atzenhofer. Since 1926, 95 years.
Atzenhofer.com as well. As they bring
Fantastic.
into the new millennium. White Trash Services, 550-1826 for all your trash collection needs. Give them a call, 361-550-1826. 7 counties, including Victoria,
Lavernia, Lake Tahoe,
Rockport, Fulton,
Basalt, Colorado, right outside of Aspen.
the Salt Flats of Utah.
There you have it. Call over there and talk to a person.
You can get weekly trash service. You can get a dumpster. You can get a roll off for larger projects, whether it's remodeling, construction, whether it's just massive cleanup. They
Maybe you're
handle
just
all your
trashy.
trash collection needs. Maybe
No,
you're a
no.
hoarder.
They'll help you have a trash-tastic day.
Razor IT Solutions.
Saw
Jean-Paul
JP
Hall.
last night. He just said, man, I have been swamped. People are really battling cyber security issues. In fact, I know that the city just last year said we've got to do something to ensure that our data is secure, that our
And we won't be held victim.
I've
to
got a card
ransomware
on file
attack.
with the city. They want to make sure that's not compromised. I've got
Library card.
I've got Evan's credit card on my utility bill. And
That's that reoccurring.
There it is. $95.09 for water and sewage. But absolutely reach out to Razor IT Solutions. He can help you. And then Steve Kidder, we saw Steven last night. He's doing great. The law offices of Steve Kidder. Having a good attorney is the easiest way to stay out of the courtroom. He ain't no
Or out of
Mason.
jail when you're in the courtroom.
Right. He ain't no Perry Mason. He's there to keep you out of trouble. Reach
He's
out.
not an MD.
He's no Matlock. Reach out. He doesn't wear seersucker.
No.
And then, of
He could
course,
probably, but if somebody's gonna pull it off, Steve,
he can do it. Complete 360 right across the street here on Red River is the Health Bar. Paninis and wraps and salads and bowls. And
You got to talk right into that thing.
am I going to?
Now you're keep an eye on this. See?
Oh, see.
Yeah, there you go.
Test.
5 years, like day one.
Yep.
Groundhog Day. all
It's
over
like
again.
I'm a duck. I wake up in a new world every day.
Every day.
But the Health Bar, complete 360. Get up on the north side.
For all your healthy eating, alternatives, supplements, anything you need to kickstart and continue a healthy lifestyle,
That
Complete
stuff.
has it.
That stuff.
So Matt Oker has a suggestion. One way the city could save a ton of money, stop putting 7,000 lights on every police car. There's probably some truth to that.
Spoken like a man who's been pulled over.
Gone are the days of, you'd order cop cars from, Chevy or GM, and they would mix and match the hoods from other cars to give you a white and black car. Now they just wrap them.
So my question was going to be before the break. I'm certain by now you've had the opportunity to spend some time with Jesus Garza, and I'm just curious how you see the two of you working together. What do you see as some synergy or some advantages, and how do you see? Because it seems like this is not a put down to Raleigh McCoy. I loved Raleigh McCoy. He was a fine gentleman. I think he did an admirable job as mayor. But Raleigh's going to be a bigger hero in his absence than he was in his presence. And if you really say what really got done, it's kind of like JFK. It's unavoidable. John F. Kennedy, greatest president ever. Really? Well, Bay of Pigs, Cuban Missile Crisis. What we got? There you go. And he had the right working model and the right attitude. How do you see your administration perpetuating that?
It's taking that blueprint, and a lot of the things, like I mentioned before, are kind of in the works. Those master plans for them. Implementation is going to be critical. Similar to Raleigh, I want civic participation. I want more people to engage. And I don't want to go down the road like we've had a few instances and start implementing something. For me, it was crazy. We didn't want that. We don't need to do that.
Right.
Or it's an inconvenience, or it's not what we should be doing. So it's best to I'd rather get permission first than ask for forgiveness later. So in that respect, I think Raleigh was going down the same road, paying attention to all the voices of the community. He reached out to parts of the community no one has reached out to before, or haven't in a long time. And those folks,
right.
In those sectors, really appreciated that. There's been a lot of discussion about what are we going to do with the South Side. And I'm thinking, let's get a little bit more sophisticated and actually develop a strategic plan for the South Side.
Right.
And take the community on the South Side and bring them into a series of meetings where we can set specific goals and for the city, because we've got that other group, I believe, that works very hard out there. Jody Sandoval and
Yes.
Arbano and those guys. They're working very hard and trying to identify some areas that they can help.
But here's the question I have: why does the city need to be involved? Can't the folks on the south side just get this done themselves, or any side for that matter? Why does the city have to be involved in somebody wanting to improve their neighborhood?
Well, because the city owns the streets.
No, that part of it, but there are things that can be done that don't need the city to be involved in.
You've got a group of citizens doing this stuff. that's why I'm saying if we do anything in a strategic plan for that area, it would be what the city can do or hasn't done. Maybe, and I hear some talk about improving some of the parks over there, the sidewalk issues, some streets and neighborhoods.
Yeah, caller, are you there? There you go. Can we? You have a question for Emmett? Hang on a second. We're going to turn off our mics, and then Emmett will be able to hear it. So
turn down your radio. Turn down your radio, please, because we're getting bad feedback. Thank you. Something.
Yeah, or Facebook.
Something's on, or Facebook or something.
Yeah, can you hear it? Can you hear it? Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, we can hear you.
You want the community involved, but you don't want their opinion. It's just like the medium on the Barrel Street. If you wanted the medium, the people didn't want it, you still got it.
Well, in fairness, the median on Navarro was a TxDOT issue, and the city had limited authority. I mean, that is a state highway, and it's been proven that whether you like it or not, the median saves lives. So I don't like it.
Well, get ready because Rio Grande's next, and but prior to that median being built, it's been a few years ago. People have forgotten about it, but there were public hearings that TxDOT invited the community to come look at that project and have input on it.
Right.
And I don't know if the term. They're still talking.
I'll be honest with you, I'm very excited about this, and I didn't agree. If I don't get it out to the public, early enough, and it was like, we have meetings with the public, I'll tell them 2 days in advance. And people already have the schedule set out for the whole week. People work. When we meeting 7 to 5, 8 to 5, people are at work. Again, in office. It's like there's got to give us time and give us a good time so that we can get involved.
Excellent points.
Thank you. Appreciate the call.
Thank you, caller.
Let me address that a little
So
bit.
concern seems like communication is a concern of this citizen.
It's somebody that wants to be involved and feels like he can't be involved. He's got to work. And
If you work after 5 o'clock, the meeting starts at 5, or you get off at 5. It's going to take you 30 minutes to get downtown, or you need to go home change, or whatever. It's 6 o'clock by the time you get to the office and or to the meeting, and the meeting may be already halfway over.
right.
And I want to take that call.
Let's see who that is.
Good morning, Wade and Carter. Do you have a question?
But ironically, I agree with David more than I do with people in Victoria County that claim to be Republican. I think Emmett is actually quite a bit conservative, and I think he has a better grasp of what most Republicans should be and what it should look like and what it should do than most of the Republicans. So if you're planning on not voting for Emmett because you don't think it's Republican, you might want to rethink the position on something.
All right. Thank you.
There you
Appreciate
go.
that.
Good
Perspective. Good perspective.
Well said.
And I hope that my record demonstrates it. Again, I can't emphasize, the years I was on council, we lowered the tax rate. And I was always very cautious and sensitive about that. Since I've been off council, the tax rates have been going up. And I'm like, Jeff, what are you doing over there, Jeff? You're hardcore conservative, and you've been sitting on council and letting these tax rates go up. I didn't watch those meetings. I don't know what hard positions you took during those last few years, but I look at the tax rate and it's been going up. We live in a conservative town. I was growing up. My parents were the most conservative. We didn't have, we weren't rich or school or anything. We lived within our means because that's all we had.
Right.
When you and I went to the University of Texas, we were in the business.
When it was a public university as opposed to an elitist place like it is now.
Well, the point being is that, we've got a pretty good grasp of business. And that school was made up of mostly conservative students.
Right. It was.
Across state and elsewhere. And so that all reflects not only in how I grew up and how I was educated, and more importantly, I strongly feel that way. I often challenge a lot of people that I am more conservative. My mother was so conservative, it's just that she was, you would put most Republicans to shame if she was so conservative. But hopefully, I can take that to council and maintain that principle.
Absolutely. Adam, good morning. How are you? Good. What do you got?
I agree with that previous caller about being able to get the information out to the public. I know that we use the social media, we use the City of Victoria website, but a lot of the times the media agendas aren't put out for 24 to 48 hours or even up to 72 hours. So I agree with that previous caller because, a lot of, like you said, a lot of people have time that they can't get those things because they are at time. And a lot of the concerned citizens that actually want to participate actually working, a lot of times tax lines. So if they can, put a lot of that stuff up to 2 weeks rather than, okay, now we're going to do it in 3 days. I agree with that 110%. But and the other side, we need to get more people involved. I mean, you can't just get the same people involved over and over again and expect us to make a change because, it's not going to happen until Victoria decides to, say that, we want to get involved and, more and more people getting involved. I mean, we, public officials are going to be the ones that have to make the decisions. So there's got to be a little bit of give and take on a lot of the stuff too. So that's just my opinion on it.
Great. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Adam.
Let me stay on that. There's a couple of things I'm thinking about. If I'm come here, there's a couple of things. I'm going to ask council that if this council has to agree, can we move the meeting date time to 6 o'clock? Believe me, when I was on council, we would get our council packets, on the Thursday or Friday before the meeting. So we had the weekend to read them. And then basically Monday, maybe ask some questions ahead of time, and then go into that meeting on Tuesday. So by law, they do have to post 72 hours, I believe it is, a meeting notice on Facebook or the website, and then they put it on the window. And not everybody looks at that, obviously, but they post the meeting and the agenda and so forth. Yes, maybe we need to e-blast that or put it through our social media that we've been developing and forecast that agenda out there sooner. I've also become aware of a couple of things that just bother the heck out of me. We've cut down the amount of time people can speak at the podium from 5 minutes
to 3
to 2 minutes. Unacceptable. We're going to hopefully change that.
I agree. All right, hang on.
Good morning, Wade and Carter.
Good morning, this is BJ.
Good morning.
I'm glad you're there today. Real quick, I'm in the county, so I don't have a dog this time. But I think the reason people don't get involved is outright they don't feel like getting involved is going to be a good use of their time because they're not going to really make an impact. It's going to come to a meeting, and then it's going to be rubber stamped what the council wants to do. So how can the general public feel like they really do have a say in what happens?
Right. Because we need to listen to them. And we're going to have opportunities right now. We're working on updating our national, the comprehensive plan, the 2035 plan, to 2040. And I remember being a part of that and being asked to ask citizens to participate in that, and they did. They came to the meetings, they participated, they were hands-on involved with that 2035 plan 5 years ago. And we're gonna do that again this time, and if we even have to make I'd like to put it on TV, show it to the public, so that not only do we have a participatory citizens in that developing and updating that plan, but let's broadcast it too, so everyone can see what's going on, how we're making that sausage for the outlook for the 2040. And the other big issue that's coming up, and I believe the committee's already been appointed, is our charter. We're up for a charter review. It's been 10 years. And we need to fix some things. There is a committee that's going to be meeting, and I think we need to televise those meetings so that the public can see what's going on and the sausage making as far as the new changes potentially that will go to the voters on the charter review.
Right. Caller, there you are. Talk to us.
Good morning. One of your previous callers talked about how conservative Emmett is. I'd like to remind everybody about the conversation Brett you had with Emmett, I don't know, a month or so ago, about Biden and Trump, where Emmett said, as long as my guy beats your guy. If that's conservative, you can vote me. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't think that's what's conservatism at all. When you back the idiot like we have in there and you get off the way. That's all I got to say about that.
There you go. So, Image, you got to take the good with the bad. I mean, that's I know that, and make no mistake, I love to ride Emmett about it. His guy being Joe Biden, and he did in light fashion. He came back to me and said, "Hey, as long as my guy beats your guy," and we were just having a conversation. But in fairness, and it has very little effect on the local mayor's race. But it is of interest to me that I know, I'm going to put you on the spot. Are you happy with the job that Joe Biden is doing as president?
He needs to step it up. A lot of rhetoric, not enough action. So we'll see. I'm happy with, we're getting the people vaccinated, but, the Trump way, the founder for all that.
Right.
And you have to give credit where credit is due.
They're all tiptoeing around that because I saw just a study yesterday that 1,200 young people, whatever the definition of younger, so we're in this room, it's Brother Gary's over there, so definitely younger than the dust that we represent. 1,200 young people, seemingly healthy, had enlarged hearts from the vaccine.
Yeah.
And so they're really being cautious right now, right? Biden wants to take credit for getting everybody vaccinated, but if it's making people sick, he wants to be able to blame it on Trump.
Right.
So they're all kind of.
And it works both ways.
Yes, sir.
And for the caller, absolutely. I've never denied that I'm a conservative Democrat. There's a little bit of difference between some of our Democrats over there on the East Coast, maybe some that you see in office because we're, I think, a dying breed. But I'd rather tell you where I'm at than try to tiptoe around, trying to be something I'm not.
Don't you feel, though, that in today's reality, a Republican today is probably more like a Democrat when you were a kid?
Well,
because everybody was fiscally conservative.
Yeah,
everybody believed in church. Everybody believed in the family.
It wasn't that long ago that Texas was run by Democrats, and they were all conservative Democrats. And what's happened in the last decade or so, a lot of those conservative Democrats have become Republicans.
Right.
And now those people
Or died.
Well,
right.
Both sides. Both sides.
The problem is everybody looks to the government to solve their problems. There's personal responsibility is off the table these days, and nobody can take responsibility for the consequences of their choices. It's all in the government, and that's where we're heading this country.
I think that's where we're failing tremendously, and we've got to take back that personal responsibility.
Speaking of taking it back, the brother man's sitting here And we're cutting into brother man time, and Emmett, appreciate you stopping by, but
Not the brother man Mike.
I don't want to
Do you-
feel the wrath of the
But-
brother man.
Brother man, indulge us. Do you have to take a moment, take what you want, and tell folks why they, if it,
Oh,
you
Yeah.
take a quick minute and tell people why they should vote for you and you know why you're doing this and what your thoughts are.
well, I'm prepared. I've got education, experience, and leadership. Decisive in my decisions. I want to engage the public more, join the boards and commissions, and be part of this process as we implement plans to improve Victoria, whether it's the streets or our economic concerns, address the appraisal value increases that we're having, keep those taxes, rates at as low as possible, take that burden off, address some of these other concerns about the communication, and be more informative. We can do more. We've got the facilities, we've got the equipment now that just reach out to everybody. We just got to get people more on board, listening and wanting to pay attention.
Fantastic.
Vote for Emmett Alvarez.
Glad you joined us. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for
Good
your
stuff.
time, and we'll see you again.
Yes, sir. Now we go back to where we don't get along. Okay? Tell them on the street.
I'll sit over here.
Right, he's sitting there, he's pointing at me, actually.
I noticed that. Well,
Brother man,
let's
how
do
are you,
this
sir?
though
Wait,
before
wait.
we get there, because
Wait.
I mean,
Listen.
we just can't, can't just walk in.
Here we go.
Oh, intro.
How are you, brother?
Good morning, sir.
I'm gonna finish off y'all's conversation. Be sure to get out and vote, everybody. That's where I come in.
Right.
Exercise your right, and we taught that for years. So do your civic duty. Well, boys, you're right. A lot of stuff going on. Two quick events, and then clarification on the College World Series. Okay, here we go. We got one at local pet Saturday cat adoption. They have a couple of litters of cats that they need to get taken care of. Adopt Pet's going to be over there. They're going to bring kids to cuddle, cats to adopt. So go there noon to 2.
Ash
Nope.
needs a cat.
No, I got lots of cats.
I'm going to take care of them my way, which is donate. Also, a summer smash. This is a good one. Ethel Lee Tracy Park, Saturday evening, 5 to 11. Proceeds benefit South Texas Tales for adoption of Cuervo. That's going to be at Ethel Lee Tracy Park. That's 5 to 11. And
What's Summer Smash? Oh, bands.
Band, Summer Smash. Foam at 6:30. The Rick Evans Band at 8 o'clock at Lee Tracy Park, right there. And we've got the Restoration House Ministries obstacle 5K run for the ladies who are in need out at Patriot Park on Saturday morning, 7:30. So there's some great events right there to benefit. All right, College World Series.
Yes, sir.
You're right. Texas has to win 3 in a row. They have to beat Virginia tonight and Mississippi State twice to get into the College World Series finals, which is a best of 3. And that's Vandy and North Carolina State is trying to come out of the other bracket. Vandy,
Okay,
So it's bracket play, but double elimination,
no
right?
elimination, each bracket, one winner comes out of each. And Texas has to win 3 to get to that. And Vandy.
And then you play a best of 3.
Best of 3. North Carolina State.
Man, they got a lot
They're
of
gonna win
games left.
they've got to win 5 of 6 to get there,
They've already won.
In a row.
Yeah.
because they've lost one, so they can't lose another.
Yeah, no, they have to beat tonight. They have to beat Mississippi State twice. They got in there. Play
They have to
Mississippi
beat
State
Vandy tonight.
twice. No, Vandy. and
Virginia.
North Carolina State to get the right to go to
On the other side.
On the other side, the other bracket.
They've got
They have to
Virginia.
beat
tonight.
Virginia.
They have to beat Virginia, and then Mississippi State twice because they beat us first game. Well, losers,
Wow.
when you lose the first game, you got the hard road to get
Yeah,
in
you
there.
do.
It's a very hard road to get in there. And so that's what we got. So Texas still in it, though. I mean,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Warm up and play.
Good.
All right, Evans, you are Longhorns, so am I. To the brother side, Yogi Berra, new stamp. They just put a Yogi Berra stamp out as of yesterday. He'll have his name on the stamp. And how many World Series, boys, did he win?
10 or 11, wasn't it?
10, sir.
So
Yeah.
One, I
amazing.
remember that because he had a ring for every finger and one for each thumb.
It's like
Yeah.
Bill Russell in
Oh,
basketball.
man, basketball, he had so many. So a lot of good stuff going on. We need to talk about that college football playoff. I like that. I really like that, but that would be the 2026.
12 team. Okay.
12 teams, top four, goodbyes, 5 through 12. The higher seed plays at home on the first round. So if you're playing 5, playing 12, you're at home. It's Alabama, they're playing in Alabama.
Yeah, Greg Sankey, who's the commissioner of the Big Ten, he said this thing's got a lot of hurdles to clear before it.
Well, they're
moves
going to meet
forward.
again next week, and they're going to talk some more about what to do. But I like it. More teams, the better. Are you ready for some football too?
Yes, sir. With people in the stands, I'm ready for things to get back to normal.
I'm not sure that the playoff hasn't gotten it right, to be honest.
Well,
The only argument ever has been the fourth team
the 14.
and the fifth team. But you can't argue with who's won it every year since they've started the playoff. Nobody sat on the side going, there's no way in hell Alabama deserved to win that championship or Clemson deserved it. Nobody said that ever.
Or LSU that year.
Nobody
Yeah.
said that ever.
So that's right. You're right. So we'll see what they do. I love that.
You've got a busy weekend coming
Oh my
up.
gosh, they're all busy now. Every day, every night.
Good.
It's having a birthday party tonight too.
Oh, the judge.
That's right.
I'll see you
I'm
there.
I'm
I'll see you there. Yes,
Got
sir.
a little work to do for them.
You do a little MC work?
I'm going to start it off, I think, and then others are coming on. Okay.
Can you see? He's gonna be. Hey, I just flew from Houston. Boy, are my arms tired. Take my wife, please. It'll be that deal, brother Gary. Retreading them old jokes.
Yeah.
It's great. People are like,